Kayla, everyone ready? Everyone set? Great. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Again, I'm Providence Mayor Brett Smiley. In a few moments, we will hear from Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez, and then Ted Dock, Special Agent in Charge from the FBI. I'm going to start with a brief update and then just to let folks know about the work that we continue to do to reassure residents in Providence that they're safe in their community, and we are grateful for all of the assistance that we have continued to receive. As we announced last night, we would be providing enhanced police coverage throughout the Brown community, throughout the East Side, and really throughout the city of Providence. And what residents and neighbors saw today was exactly that. There was specific enhanced coverage in Fox Point, Wayland Square, on Thayer Street, and on Hope Street, which are the commercial districts in the area. And I want to express the city's profound gratitude to the following departments who provided mutual assistance and additional coverage today. First and foremost, the Rhode Island State Police have been excellent partners, and I'm grateful for the governor of making sure that those resources are available to us here in Providence. But we were also assisted today by friends from neighboring communities here in Rhode Island, which is a terrific way in which our colleagues from throughout Rhode Island have been assisting. Today we had extra help from North Kingstown, North Providence, East Providence, Central Falls, and Pawtucket. Many other communities have offered to help, and we expect to take that help in the days to come. But through that mutual assistance of our neighboring communities, we were able to provide that additional coverage. Secondly, we were able to provide coverage to our schools today. We did have school here in Providence. I'm glad we had school today in Providence. We'll have school tomorrow in Providence. This is the last week of the semester, and it's important for kids to be in school, and so we're encouraging parents to do what's right for their family. We understand that there are probably difficult conversations happening at the kitchen table right now, but if you're comfortable, you should send your kid to school. The Providence Public Schools are open, and we have police coverage at drop-off and pickup times to provide that extra sense of safety and security for our families. I spent the morning out at our schools too in the neighborhood to be there for our parents, and they certainly were glad to see an officer helping out. And so, as we've said many times, but it's important to continue to say we're so grateful for the tireless effort of law enforcement, not just to assist with the investigation, but to help all of us feel safe in our home. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to our Governor Dan McKee.
Thanks, Mayor. And just like all of us, we want to see the individual that pulled the trigger on these young kids identified, apprehended, and brought to justice. I can tell you from the state level, we're continuing to coordinate our state police and instructed the colonel to make sure that all the resources that are available are being employed through the direction of the mayor, but that partnership is incredibly important. I also know that the schools are not only being impacted on the higher education in Providence and also the K through 12, but I also have heard and have been in contact with our Commissioner of Higher Education, Shannon Gilkey, along with our Commissioner of K through 12, Angelica Infante Green, to make sure that we are reassessing all safety issues in all our schools in the state of Rhode Island, and more to come on that. The issues that have to do with mental health, coordinating around the state through our higher ed and through our K through 12. I've assigned Director Rick Leclerc to make sure that they're coordinating all of the social services, all the mental health help that's out there, so that we can kind of also deliver that on a statewide basis. I was at Family Services Rhode Island today on Hope Street, and just seeing what they're doing, and it's being duplicated all around the state of Rhode Island. So I think it's important that we do everything we can out of the governor's office to support what's happening at Brown, the community of Brown, Providence, but also knowing that this is impacting on a statewide basis. So we're deploying that efforts to make that that make the effort to let people know that we want to do everything we can so they can be safe and feel safe. And then finally, we want to make sure that all Rhode Islanders know that everything that is physically possible is being done, and partnering in with our federal, the FBI, our state law enforcement, and also the local law enforcement to bring an individual and identify and bring that person to justice. We also have been involved in communicating with the League of Cities and Towns today through Randy Rossi. They've sent out a message to deploy their vehicles, their police vehicles, at the beginning of school day, at the end of the school day, all around the state of Rhode Island to, again, show that we're serious about having people and the families feel safe, and that everything that's being done to make sure that happens on a statewide basis, because this has become a statewide issue that is being impacted families and people throughout the state of Rhode Island. Mayor?
Now we'll hear from Colonel Oscar Perez.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for being here again. Here we are once again to provide you some of the highlights and the progress that the Providence Police Department, along with several agencies, have gone together and stepped up to come up to this. I want to remind you that this is a very active investigation, very complex investigation, and it's the dedicated work of the men and women of the Providence Police Department, the Detective Division, the Community Response Team, the Special Response Team. It's all hands on deck. And on top of it all, if you have the state police who's assisting us and every other federal partner that has been in this building for several hours, and I want to commend and applaud them for the work that they have done, and that includes the FBI, HSI, ATF, the IRS, the Marshals, and several other agencies, analysts that are here. So it's pretty active because we want to make sure, as the governor stated, as the mayor stated, to make sure that we identify this individual and bring him to justice. Our work that initiated today and continues to initiate for a while since it started. We're at the 49th hour, and there's no one that wants to put this individual in handcuffs than us. So this has brought us to a new lead, which I momentarily will be able to provide you with. That's going to include video of this individual as well as photos of this individual. We're asking the public for assistance to be able to identify this individual. The photos I will be able to show you are coming from the area of Hope Street near Benevolent and Menin. And those photos and those videos were retrieved around 2 p.m. on Saturday the 13th. And we believe that that's the same individual that we showed you from the previous video that we released. The public is encouraged to use the tip line, which is pretty active. We have a tip line which is staffed with officers from the Providence Police as well as analysts, and they're taking calls as we speak. And we want the public to use that information that they have that may be beneficial to this investigation. They need to call 401-272-3121 +0. That was going to direct you in order to provide the tips that you are providing to us. As well, you can access the FBI website at fbi.gov/Brown University shooting. Please, I'm going to ask you all to follow our channels to stay appraised of what's going on and to stay accurate. There's a lot of channels and a lot of stuff that's going out there that's circulating the wrong info. And I told you when I first met you that there's appropriate info, there's accurate info, and it's going to come from us. So I please and plead with you that you access those type of channels. Again, we're asking for the public's assistance in identifying this individual that we're about to show you, and we'll release this video on Twitter and our Twitter account momentarily. I'm going to turn to the video behind us. I'll be able to show you in 2 seconds. Officer Mangan, if you can just activate the and put the videos up. So this is the first video that we're showing you. This is the individual walking. It's on the sidewalk of Benevolent. And this is prior to the incident. Here we go again with is this video too, Mike. Again, you see him walking. Move on to the third video. These are some photos of this individual. And they will all be time-stamped. The last photo. Thank you. So we'll be providing this as well, and I ask you all to please make sure you put them up, and then anybody in the public that has any info about this individual, we ask that you call our tip line, and we'll also have the numbers in the website listed. Mayor?
Thank you, Colonel. The last speaker today will be Special Agent in Charge from the FBI, Ted Dux.
So, thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everyone. My name is Ted Dux. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of FBI Boston. We know there's a lot of public concern about the horrific mass shooting at Brown University on Saturday, and rightfully so. I can assure you that law enforcement team standing before you today has been working around the clock, 24/7, to ensure justice is fully served. While we mourn the devastating loss of the victims and those who are critically injured, the FBI and its partners are dedicated to honoring their memory through a meticulous investigation. Tonight, as Colonel Perez stated, we are renewing our call for the public's assistance in seeking any and all information about the shooter. No amount of information is too small or irrelevant. We are also here to announce the FBI is now offering a reward of $50,000 for information that can lead to the identification, the arrest, and the conviction of the individual responsible, who we believe to be armed and dangerous. We're asking everyone in Rhode Island and beyond to review the new images of the suspect, share them on social media, and come forward if you have any information. You can contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the tips provided by the police department at 401-272-3121, or you can also provide tips electronically and submit it to tips.fbi.gov. We're also doubling down on our efforts to obtain images and video of the shooter. Those can be submitted online at fbi.gov/Brown University shooting. Our agents and analysts are fully embedded with our law enforcement partners, including Providence and Rhode Island State Police. We are tracking down leads, canvassing neighborhoods, and developing intelligence. And right now, our evidence response teams remain on campus processing the scene. And folks from our lab from Quantico are documenting the trajectories of the bullets to reconstruct the scene. It's painstaking work, and we are asking the public to be patient as we continue to run down every lead so we can get victims, survivors, and their families, and all of you the answers you deserve. Thank you.
Mayor, can you tell Chief Officer to say a statement in Spanish, please, for Spanish media?
Yes.
Gracias, sí, verdaderamente estamos acá esta noche para demostrarles los highlights del progreso que hemos hecho en el departamento, y quiero identificar que es una colaboración del Departamento de la Policía de Providence, el personal de este departamento, también incluye las policías del Estado, obviamente los federales, partners de nosotros, como el FBI, el HSI, el ATF, el IRS y también la oficina de los Marshals también están incluidos. Acabamos de mostrar 3 videos los cuales depictan lo que es esta persona que estamos buscando, y le pedimos al público que verdaderamente, si ven estas imágenes y lo conocen a la persona, que llamen a los números que le acabamos de dar, y te los puedo dar cuando terminemos acá, para que ellos nos den esa información y así nosotros tener la posibilidad de identificar a esta persona y traerlo a la justicia.
Colonel, Mayor, can you there?
Dan, go ahead.
Hi, Mayor Dan Janey from NBC 10. I just want to ask a question. These videos and images were actually very good that you just showed. They were from the day before, and I'm just wondering, why didn't we release these a little bit earlier? Did you just get them today? And can you explain it? Because that's going to be a question from you.
Of course, and that's a great question, Dan, and I'll tell you that it takes time. I've mentioned it before that investigations are very complex. And when you're doing canvassing areas or when you're developing evidence, sometimes you get directed to another direction, and then that's what makes you go back to certain areas and continue to investigate. Here we are at the 49th hour, but I got to commend the dedication and professionalism of all of us that I mentioned earlier, because it's that passion to bring someone to justice that led us to get this info that we got today to be able to provide to you.
Colonel, are you still leading the investigations?
1 second.
Sorry.
With these images and videos, are you all going to distribute them so the media can distribute them?
100.
And then, you are.
Sorry,
And then,
yes.
Mr. Attorney General, yesterday you made it clear, we didn't have an image of this person's face. Now these images show we do have this person's face. Is this going to be key in solving this case, which you seem very dedicated in doing?
Yeah, look, I think, as I've said multiple times today, that these investigations are like threads that you pull on a garment, and some of them you pull and the garment doesn't open up, and other ones you pull and the garment comes undone. I think when you go out and get a better image of the person's face, that can only help the public, help us identify this person and confirm that they're the right person when that time comes. You know, the prosecutors today have been working with the law enforcement agents and police officers to advance this investigation, and I would describe today's work as making steady progress to identifying the person that we saw in the video that was released yesterday, and the sooner we can identify that person, the sooner we can, I think, blow this case open. But that's work that has to happen in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Mayor,
What led you to believe that there was no further threat to the community today? You mentioned yesterday that there was no additional evidence. Can you just expand upon that to?
Yeah, it's the same as yesterday, which is ever since 4:05 on Saturday, which was when the first call came into Brown. There's been no new, credible, specific threat anywhere in the Providence community
With
having
respect,
anything.
Mayor, there was no threats made prior to the shooting, so how can people feel safe with that information?
The way in which we are trying to reassure our residents is through a noted, visible police presence throughout the community. It is going to be hard for my city to feel safe going forward. This has shaken us. That will be true tomorrow. I suspect that'll be true the day after the general convicts someone. This is a process to restore a sense of safety. But we're going to take those step at a time. And the first step, and what we're trying to provide today, and which we did well with the assistance of our neighbors, and we're grateful for it, is a noted, visible police presence to provide some confidence for families that are taking their kids to school, people who have to get to work a shift. You know, I spent lunchtime today walking down Thayer Street, and for our guests, Thayer Street is the commercial district right adjacent to campus. And I talked to one of the women at Antonio's, which some of you know is a pizza by the slice joint, and she said, I didn't want to come to work today, but I needed to work. I needed to take the shift, and that's a very real thing happening in our community right now. But she noticed, and she appreciated the fact that there were patrolmen walking up and down Thayer Street. It made her feel a little bit better. And when she comes to work tomorrow, I hope she feels a little bit better after that. That's where we are right now in terms of restoring a sense of safety to the community. And that's what we're going to continue to try to do. Bill, go ahead.
Mayor, two questions.
Yeah.
To that point, a lot of people scared right now, a lot of people confused right now in the city.
Yeah.
Can you speak to them directly, summarizing what you just said or any other thoughts from the heart?
Yeah.
Your take right now, is Providence safe?
Yeah. Providence remains a very safe city, and Providence receives really the best law enforcement, I believe, in the country. And today, especially at this moment, it's being augmented by great professionals of other Rhode Islanders, the state police, and others, and our federal partners. But my sense of the community right now is that this is starting to get very real and very personal. And I heard that today. I heard that last night at the vigil. We're all 2 degrees of separation from one another. And now people are starting to share stories with one another of, oh, my neighbor was nearby, and oh, my friend's kid was supposed to go to that review session but didn't. I'm starting to hear those stories, and I think all the Rhode Islanders in the room are starting to hear those stories. I heard that story again today with one of our customers is one of the teachers. And so it's starting to get very personal for our community, which is hard. And that's, I think, where we are sort of emotionally in the process. but we're here from one another. That's the scary side. The upside is that this is a tight-knit community that looks out for one another. The governor was there. All the officials who were up here with me tonight were with us at Lippert Park last night. It was 10 degrees. It was loosely organized, and yet hundreds of people came out because they wanted to be with one another. They were hugging their neighbors, they were crying, and they were offering each other support. So this community will heal from this. We will move forward, but that doesn't make light of, and I'm certainly not making light of, the fear and anxiety that persists. But the only way we're going to move forward through it is one step at a time, and today's one of those steps. Please, Barb, go ahead. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what kind of firearm was used in this shooting? And do you know how many rounds were fired? Do you have any details of that nature?
It was several rounds, and it was a small caliber, actually 9mm firearm was used. And it was several rounds into it, and obviously, as we all know, the casualties and the injured people, it's just terrible. So, yes.
Colonel, I have two questions.
Yes.
Who's the lead investigator on this now? And secondly, what do you believe that a person of interest was doing in that video and those pictures that you obtained?
Yeah, so the first question, the lead is, obviously we're taking the lead, but we couldn't do this job without the assistance, as I mentioned, and collaboration of all the different agencies and municipalities. This is a team effort. This is important to us. As the mayor stated, it has shocked the city, and a lot of people are concerned. So this is an effort to put handcuffs on somebody, and it takes a whole team to do that.
My second question is, what do you think he was doing? Was he staking out the area? Because this was the day before the shootings, correct?
Correct. And so,
What do you think he was doing?
that's it.
Was it hours before or days before?
So it was a few hours before, and I'll tell you that at this point, that's all we have. So it was a few hours before what he was doing. We'll be able to find out further once we come to investigate. Go ahead. Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
John DePietro, Road Patrol Life. Can you talk about, is it unusual to change the direction of an investigation as it's going on?
That's a great question, John. I think that, all detectives throughout this nation and in the world understand that when you're investigating a case, it takes different paths. You start somewhere, you start here, and all of a sudden something else pops off and you're going in a different direction. And that's what happens. It's complex. And at the end of the day, you have to investigate. You have to pull every rock. You have to look at every video. You have to examine evidence. You have to check ballistics. It just takes a lot of work. You have to interview witnesses. And sometimes that takes you to a whole different path. And as a police officer and a detective, you have to make sure that you don't get into the tunnel vision in order to be able to get the right answer. So, yeah, they do change. Go ahead, Steph. Go ahead, Steph.
Concerned that the more time passes, it'll be harder to make an arrest.
I'll tell you, every minute
Within a couple days.
Every minute counts. Every minute counts. But what doesn't stop is the dedication and professionalism of this department as well as our partners.
Steph.
Believe that any of the victims, whether the victims who died or the others, were targeted by this shooter, or that he was just shooting randomly and indiscriminately?
That's all part of the investigation, Steph. Yeah, so we'll continue to investigate further.
Can you also explain, the FBI today was searching in the bushes and kicking around the snow, or like moving the snow on Waterman Street. We have known since Saturday that the potential suspect walked down Waterman Street. It was in the first video. Why would you be now looking in the bushes for something on Waterman Street 2 days later after it had snowed?
So I just answered John the same question on how investigations, they turn and lead you in a different direction. We might have used all our energies in the first few days to investigate something, and here we are now heading back to that same place to continue to investigate, and that's why you saw that, because the investigations change on a daily basis.
So your travel of the 911 call or emergency calls that came in, when the first 911 calls to come in, were those dispatched by Brown University Police or Providence Police?
It was dispatched by the 911 center, and yes, we responded immediately within minutes. You saw the Providence Police cruiser pulling up.
So Providence has been an investigator on this from the beginning?
That's correct.
Patrick.
Have you received any leads or indication on whether this was personally motivated, political, or otherwise? Are there any threats to Brown that they have turned over that would give us an indication of why this might have happened?
It's a great question, and that's something that we're all asking ourselves, and we'll continue to investigate to be able to get that answer.
Colonel,
In front here.
Do you have reason to believe that this person is no longer in the community? Because can you continue to try to reassure the public that they are safe, but you also just said that this person you believe is armed and dangerous. So how can both be true?
Well, yeah, right, and that's something that's unknown, but like the mayor stated, I'll tell you that We have enhanced enforcement in that area. We have, Steph stated earlier, we have a lot of officers in the area, so in that sense, it's going to be safe. But however, as well, I just want to remind the community that our priority in law enforcement and in the city is to keep our constituents safe, keep them informed, and to keep them committed, to understand that we're a professional, we're dedicated, we're going to put somebody in handcuffs, and we're going to continue to do this job. So I want to know.
Reason to believe that they are no longer in this community?
That's something that we're continuing to investigate.
Colonel Perez, just real quick, Tom Quinn with
Tom.
WPRO. On the trajectory of where this guy went from the videos that you saw, where is the last place that you would, you have clear video of seeing him? Is it like, are you still getting video from houses in that area? And, you know, Colonel Weaver, just real quick, in terms of the state's response, how much enforced patrol, we know about the enforced patrol in Providence, but are you putting throughout the state to keep the highways, you know, keep an eye on the highways?
We have increased our patrols throughout the state, and we will respond accordingly to any requests for additional assistance. This is a collaborative effort, not only from our uniform division, but also our detective bureau is embedded here with Providence and our federal partners, and we will not stop until we find out who the suspect is and bring them to justice.
Question for Attorney General. Wait, just real quick, back to Colonel Perez.
I just want to clarify something, because it seems that we're a little confused as far as the video itself. It says 2 p.m. It was their day off 2 hours prior.
So where
2 p.m.
So where's
yes.
the
Based
last
on the
house that
pictures,
you actually have video
Let me
from?
just finish with the. Go ahead.
Thanks, Tim. Where's the last video that you actually have video from in that
It's
area?
in the vicinity of Hope Street between Benevolent and Manning
Is
Street.
that, that's before the shooting?
That's correct. Yes.
2 hours, right?
Yeah, 2 hours prior. Yes.
My turn, Bill.
Dan,
Tom, this video that you just released, more than anything, is key to wrapping to this case, okay? We have a closer picture of his face, we have a closer picture of his body. Based on that and witness interviews, do you have a new description of the person of interest now? Because he looked like a guy just walking around, you know, the neighborhood. Is there a new description you can give us of?
There is, and it will be on that poster that we're going to be releasing on the images, and the height, weight, and things of that nature are all posted on that poster.
He lives in the area?
It's something that we're investigating there. Dime.
Desde ayer se han filtrado a la prensa
Sí,
el nombre, la fotografía y hasta la casa de la persona de interés que estaba bajo custodia.
Sí.
Si quiere responde esta pregunta en los dos idiomas.
sí.
Hoy habían algunos medios haciéndose eco de que había una segunda persona de interés en custodia. Este no es el caso porque no he escuchado absolutamente nada en esta conferencia que se refiera a eso. ¿Me puede usted decir cuánto o cómo están manejando ustedes la información dentro del departamento y cómo se está filtrando a la prensa?
Claro.
Porque esto crea confusión, obviamente.
Sí, sí. So the gentleman just asked a question about how information is getting filtered into the community and out from us. And the question was that past few days, an individual was identified and was detained, and he was a person of interest. We had him here. He's asking, how does that get out to the media? How does that happen? My answer to that is I have no control over what's being released or circulated in the media, speculations that occur. What we can control is what we give you here, and as I was speaking earlier, that's why it's important for you to get the information from us. So, mi respuesta que hago es lo que pasa es no me doy cuenta cómo se filtra esa información a los medios de comunicación. Es importante que la comunicación venga de nosotros y no de otras partes. Es muy importantísimo porque si hace circular en otros momentos van a especular. Ahora, he also asked, a second question that he asked was that there was information out there that we had a person in custody of interest, a second person. And that's not true, that's incorrect, and I don't know how that's circulated in speculation. So my answer to him is that, no, eso es mentira, hasta el momento no tenemos otra persona en custodia, lo único que tenemos es lo que acabamos de informar.
And building on
Chris,
that, Attorney General
go ahead, Chris.
There appeared to be an issue with 311 services during Saturday's incident. A lot of neighbors couldn't get notification what issues were going on there, and has that since been resolved?
Yeah, so residents in the city of Providence were notified in multiple ways, and certainly through all of your outlets, all official City of Providence social media outlets, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we pushed out a 311 notice. If you are not, the 311 notification system in the City of Providence, you have to sign up for it in order to receive it. And so 311 notifications did go out. If you are a resident of the City of Providence and you are not receiving 311 notifications, we urge you to please sign up. You can do so at the city's website. 311 notices have continued to go out throughout this entire incident, including up as recently as today, this afternoon, to clarify a false report with regard to a report of shots fired, which was found to be unfounded. We sent out a push notification through 311 to reassure people because in this day and age, there's a lot of misinformation. A lot of people are getting reports through non-official channels and are getting anxious as a result of it. And so 311 notifications are working fine, but you have to register for it. And you have to opt in for text messages. If anyone needs assistance for how to sign up for 311, if you are not tech savvy or if you are having problems, you can call the phone number 311, and we have staff available who will help register you. For all of our community, please know that there are always bilingual individuals to take those phone calls.
Mr. Attorney General, real quick, you were on CNN this morning talking about, Mr. Attorney General, you were on CNN this morning talking about the person that you spoke, the person of interest from yesterday was here. We have not heard that here today. Can you talk about, is that person of interest still here in the state? Who was he? Was he from Wisconsin? Just,
Yeah, I think, as I said last night, for those of you who were here, I thought it was really unfortunate that this person's name was leaked by somebody.
Is he cleared?
Well, let me finish my answer. Excuse me?
Why you finish the answer? Just answer his question.
No, I haven't finished it yet, Ronaldo. So I'm going to finish it. So the person who was held, it was unfortunate that his name got leaked because it's one of the reasons why we use words carefully, and detaining someone because they're a person of interest is different from having a person in custody that you're gathering evidence to charge. I mean, that's a place in an investigation that eventually you get to, but we weren't there with this individual. So it's hard to put that name, back in the bottle. He has been cleared. He is not a person of interest any longer. The investigation is now focused in another direction. But I want to clarify something the chief said. That doesn't mean that while part of the team was focused on him, other leads weren't being followed up on. What's critical here is that we reconstruct, and the police know this, our prosecutors are working with them. It's critical that we reconstruct this man's movements, both before and afterwards. My hope is that we will eventually have that pattern. But when you ask staff why are they looking in particular areas, where he was and what his movements are developing as we obtain additional evidence. So that can't explain why people are looking somewhere today as opposed to 2 days ago. We're learning more about his movements as we gather additional video evidence. And that video evidence has been coming in at a much greater degree than it was 12, 24, 36 hours ago. Why, you ask? Some people were away for the weekend. Some of these places were businesses. So what the team is doing, there are a bunch of teams doing different things, exploiting electronic evidence, exploiting physical evidence, meaning forensic evidence from the crime scene, canvassing the neighborhoods. And those are the threads that when you pull them will open this case up. And that has been true over the course of my career, and I'm confident it'll be true again here.
General, to that note, General.
Yeah, go ahead, Bill, and I'll get out of the way after that. Go ahead.
And this kind of follows up on what Colonel Perez said about, to the general public to use official Providence Police channels, be it YouTube or whatever. Are we doing a good job here? Is the media doing a good job in the ultimate goal right now, trying to locate this person?
Yeah, look, I think part of what's important about these briefings, I give the mayor great credit for doing them, is to help push out information in a case like this to the press and the public to help us solve this crime. That's potentially what it'll take here.
Mr. Mayor, I want to go back to Brown University.
Yeah.
Okay? There's been a lot of questions I've heard from a lot of parents today, and it goes back to the question about the alarm and that was installed in 2007. That in an active shooter location, it sends off a notice and tells people what to do. That never went off. I'm wondering, what is Brown's answer? And perhaps even just as important, why isn't Brown here today?
As for the decision to activate the Brown alarm, that's a question for Brown. I believe it was asked of the chief of the Brown Police Department the other day. you'd have to follow up with him. This is not a decision that the City of Providence or any of the other law enforcement partners that you see behind me can trigger that alarm. I don't know the answer to that. We continue to work very closely with Brown, and it is no lack of support, or there's nothing to read into the fact that they're not here today. We have meaningful. We felt like there was meaningful updates to make with respect to the investigation, the video and photos that we shared today. Brown is not a part of those updates, and so we have all of the relevant agencies who are working on this and where we are in this investigation today, and that's why who you see here is here. Go ahead.
Have any concerns about why Brown didn't have those sirens go off? Have you had those conversations with them?
Again, Brown has to answer that question, but it is clear that, and the Colonel mentioned this, and we've talked about it a couple times over the last 2 days, the police response to the initial call was swift, timely. We don't believe there was any, it could not have happened any faster than it did. And so I can't speak to, honestly, don't know a lot about their alarm system, and you'd have to ask them about it. But in terms of our response, it was nearly immediately. There's a lot of presence in that area, and Brown PD responded very quickly.
In all due respect, Mayor, we can't ask Brown if they don't show up.
Well, you have their contact information, and I would encourage you to reach out. Please, straight back. I'm sorry.
Now, do you have any update on the victims who are still hospitalized? Have you spoken with any of them or their families?
I don't. There's no degrading of their condition, but I don't have the latest status of them. I've not spoken to them since yesterday, although I know other people have, and we're happy to try to get you an update for our next update. John.
Trump says that Brown is to blame here, saying that the onus of this tragedy is on the school itself. Do you think that's a fair criticism? Do you disagree with what the president is saying in response to the shooting, sir?
Who's the question for? I'm sorry.
For Governor McKee.
Repeat the question, please.
President Donald Trump has said that Brown University is to blame for this shooting and saying it's the school's problem. Is that a fair criticism, or do you disagree with what the president
I don't think it's fair criticism.
Colonel.
Can you expand on that, sir?
Why not? Because Brown University is not collaborating with you guys. You're lying to the press over here. They have facial recognition. We know that because they follow the students, they follow everybody in the neighborhood.
We've been in
Facial
conversations.
recognition, they need to release that data to everybody know who the guy in the video. We got the video Saturday. Why you guys release the video today?
I think I answered the question.
All right, guys. Listen,
Colonel, I have just a
John, please, just for a second. A couple things. First of all, Brown University and Brown Public Safety, Brown Police Department has been a close collaborator throughout this process. I do not accept that criticism.
Come on. We know that.
Secondly, everyone you see behind us, we've all been working for now 49 hours. We're tired. We're serious about the task at hand. I know all of you have been working very hard, and I suspect all of you are just as tired. The press has been a great partner in pushing out relevant, factual, timely information, and we are grateful for that. This crowd has grown a little bit over the last 48 hours, and I know that people are weary, and so I'm asking, please, for a little bit of patience and grace, and we have been fully transparent. We continue to answer your questions. We will continue to do so. But the best way to inform the public and to ask for their help is for these opportunities to not degrade into baseless accusations, and we will point them out when we hear them. John, go ahead, please.
Question to the Colonel. Colonel, we learned, you revealed that the shooter used a 9mm. Now, there's a report the shooter yelled something right before his shot came in. Could you tell us what that was?
Yes, part of the investigation, John, and we'll, yeah.
Now, the only reason I asked that, though, is, for instance, like with the Unabomber, his brother recognized the writing. So it's possible a friend or family member might recognize if the person said something that was significant.
Correct.
So that's why you don't, other than the 9mm, is there anything else inside that auditorium that you could tell us?
No, that's correct. And listen, like I said earlier, investigations will bring us to evidence that we need to collect in order to be able to prosecute.
But he did yell something.
With that being said, we're going to continue to collect evidence, and if it leads us to something to that nature that's going to be extremely helpful for us to identify somebody, we'll be the first ones to put it out.
Are any-
Alex,
Go ahead.
Alex.
With how much time has elapsed at this point, do you have any evidence that indicates that this person is getting help, or are they a lone wolf in this situation?
Yeah, so we'll continue. Those are great questions, Alex, and I think that's something for us to continue to investigate. This is active and it's complex, and so that we may have an answer to that they by themselves, but that's not something that we have ruled out, and we won't do that. So.
To the left here, please.
Where the images
Are
came
you
from.
looking for both a living or potentially deceased person of interest?
We don't rule anything out. Like I told you earlier, this is a complex situation. It's fluid, but we'll continue to do our job in order to be able to get those answers.
Follow up on John's question.
Straight back,
Did somebody
please,
actually yell?
back.
You were describing the suspect, or the person you're looking for, as someone in his 30s, another you said 20s. From what you've seen, the picture that you've seen, can you now, through FBI profiling that's been done, give us a better age and whether or not he has any connection at this point, 49 hours later, to that classroom, that lecture hall, and to the Brown University campus? Can you say that lecture hall was targeted? Because he didn't, we saw the video of him going around the neighborhood that you just showed us, but he didn't go anywhere else into that campus. So can you say that that classroom was targeted?
I'll tell you that what I can tell you is that this individual definitely targeted the Brown University, because clearly as we're here speaking about that. And I can also tell you that obviously it's something that we're looking into as far as there was anything else that he was targeting, but it's all open. Was there another question to that part?
I asked you about the approximate age, because
Yeah.
this is the first time we're seeing his face. And just like with the marathon
Yes.
bombers, when the authorities finally put those pictures out,
Yes.
within hours,
Yes.
those people came up. So now that for the first time the nation is seeing this image,
Correct.
frontal image of this suspect,
Yes.
what are you able to, and the SAC from Boston
Yes.
especially, what are you able to now determine?
And we have that, and they have been extremely helpful, and we're going to be able to provide that to you so that you can put it on your own websites.
But do you have that?
Dan. Dan's got the last question, and then we're going to wrap it up.
All right, I want to ask two questions,
Yeah.
if I could, Mayor. To follow up on John's question, did the suspect yell, like has been reported, and there's been some erroneous reporting, but did he yell when he came to the classroom? And how valuable have witness statements been from those who survived?
Listen, my heart goes out to the victims, it goes out to the families, and I'll tell you that their cooperation has been extremely helpful. And with that being said, we'll continue, and I'm going to respect the fact that, and I hope that they get better, and my heart and soul goes out to them. So,
Did he yell though? Did somebody
so that's something that we're investigating. We took statements, and we have to confirm that.
Is there any audio from the scene?
So-
Any cell phones? Are there a lot of cell phones there? Are there any
Question for somebody.
We're gonna wrap it up here. For your planning purposes, we will continue to brief in this location until we say otherwise. We also, unless there's a significant update, we don't expect to brief further today and expect to do this again tomorrow. Obviously, it's subject to change. Please make sure you're on the press list. If you're not, you can see Josh. That's how notice will be made. But for your planning purposes, that's our expectation. Thank you all very much.